Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all happy and healthy. It feels like ages since I sat down and actually spoke to the camera. I haven't uploaded a YouTube video in a little while, and by the time this one is actually uploaded it probably would have been ages, and there's good reasons for that. Some reasons which I'm going to get into in this video, but also my laptop decided to be very rude and just die on me, and I still haven't got it back yet. So the hard drive just went kaput basically. So my MacBook is in with someone being fixed, recovering all of my data, putting a new hard drive in, expensive stuff, but I'm hoping to have it back by the end of this week so I can edit some videos that I've been doing and obviously get back on to uploading videos on YouTube, and also my work, because my laptop, like being an online PT, my laptop is obviously my life and it's been very, very stressful to say the least. But anyway, this video is going to be my next pregnancy update. So I last did a pregnancy update for weeks 12 and 13, and I am now 17 weeks and 5 days. Sorry, what? Like, how did I get here? I am 18 weeks on Friday. So this is going to be pregnancy update for weeks 14, 15, 16, 17. Yeah, so basically a whole month I'm going to update you on, and let me tell you, a lot has happened. I have had some real wobbles. I've had some real lows, but also some real highs as well. I've got some notes on my phone because there is no way I would remember everything, so I'm just gonna be referring to my phone. And please ignore my baby's got bad eyes at the moment. She's got, we think it's conjunctivitis. She's got some eye drops, but she's got some really sticky, puffy eyes, haven't you, Bubba? She's been absolutely fine with it though. Like, obviously she rubs them sometimes and I can see it's kind of maybe bothering her a little bit, but she's still been her happy, normal self, into everything, and like not feeling sorry for herself, because you're tough, aren't you? But yeah, so that's why my baby looks like she's been crying, because her eyes are really, really bad. But right, so first symptom, headaches. I have been having the worst headaches. They have calmed down now, but I would say around weeks 14, 15, 16, oh my goodness, like tension headaches all in the front of my forehead. Absolutely unbearable some days. And trying to look after this toddler with a tension headache when you just want to lie in a dark room with like sunglasses on and a blanket on your head, really, really hard. The only thing I found that worked, I don't really take, I know people will roll their eyes at me and whatever, but I don't really take any paracetamol. Obviously you can't take ibuprofen when you're pregnant, but I don't take paracetamol or any sort of medication unless I really, really need to take medication. I believe there's a need for medication. Obviously there's a need for medication and it is useful, but I don't take any unless it's, you know, like really, really needed. So I've been using I haven't got it actually. It's called Forehead, the Forehead stick. That has been amazing. It's like a menthol, I don't know if it's eucalyptus, but it's like that really mentally like feel when you put it on your head, and it just like, oh, your sock, thank you. It just like, oh, I don't know, it's so good. The only thing I have been doing is forgetting it's on my head, getting in the shower, and then it starts running down into my eyes. So if you're gonna use a forehead stick, make sure you wipe it off before you have a shower because that hurts. So I've had a couple of real wobbles. I think it was around week 14 or 15. I think it was week 14. I took a week off social media. I logged out of Instagram completely. I just didn't really go on social media. Well, I didn't go on social media for the whole week. I literally just read my book. I journaled. I meditated. I focused on breathing exercises. Like, I just had a complete breakdown, basically. Well, not a breakdown, but it felt like a breakdown at the time. And I don't really know what it was. I just felt really, really, really depressed. And I said when I was gonna document this journey, like I did with Alula, I would share the highs and the lows. But when you're in a moment like that and it's that low, the last thing you think about is getting your camera out and recording yourself crying. Do you know what I mean? So I'm gonna talk about it here, but I just don't know how to explain it. I don't know what it was. I don't know why I was feeling so low. It's weird though, because I do remember when I was pregnant with Alula having the same kind of thing around the same time. So I think it's to do with going into the second trimester, I don't know if it's like a hormone surge or yeah, I don't know. My sister's a student midwife and she said, yeah, going into the second trimester, it's not a surprise that you feel like that. I don't really know. I've had some stuff going on in my family as well. So with my dad, I'm not going to get into that, but I've had some stuff going on with my dad, and my nan's not very well. So just, I think everything was just kind of overwhelming, and then the hormones was intensifying everything. So that was one of my wobbles. And then the second one of my wobbles was, I still don't feel 100% ready to talk about it yet, and I'm not going to go into too much detail about it because I am going to do a whole video on it when I feel like I can. But basically mine and Alula's breastfeeding journey came to an end after, well, it was about a week ago. I haven't fed her now, and I still just don't feel 100% ready to openly talk about it without crying. So that's how I know I haven't healed from it yet and I'm not over it yet, is because when I think about it I could still cry. So our breastfeeding journey came to an end, and let me tell you, I was so unprepared for how that made me feel. Post-weaning depression, weaning blues, whatever you want to call it, is real. And wow, I don't know if the hormones and stuff were intensified because I'm pregnant. I've got nothing to compare it to, because obviously she's my first baby and that's the first time we've stopped breastfeeding. But yeah, I was an absolute mess for about, I would say 4 days, I think, that I literally just cried. But yeah, that was really hard. One of the hardest feelings I've ever experienced. And like I said, I'm going to do a whole video on my experience with stopping breastfeeding and weaning blues. And yeah, I'm going to go into more detail in that, but that really put me out for another week. So 2 weeks out of these 4 weeks, I've just been really struggling. And like I said, I want to share everything, but when you are just sat there crying, you just focus on making yourself feel better again, and that's not getting your camera out and vlogging or talking to a camera, if you know what I mean. Another symptom that I have been having that's really sort of ramped up recently is needing to go for a wee a lot. Remember having this with Alula, not sure if it was this early, but it's that feeling of like, you've literally just been for a wee, you go back, sit down, watch TV, like I could literally go for a wee again. So annoying, but yeah, it's understandable when you've got, you know, your uterus growing and a baby growing and everything pushing down. So yeah, it's just one of those things you've got to put up with when you're pregnant, isn't it? But on the plus side, the sickness has, I wouldn't say completely gone, because I still have the odd day that catches me out where I still feel a little bit sick. But yeah, basically compared to how I was feeling in the beginning, it's a breeze now, with the sickness anyway. Tired, still obviously very tired. I'm a mum, but since stopping breastfeeding, Alula has been sleeping through the night, which is amazing. She goes down and she sleeps all the way through, but she's such an early riser. Like yesterday we was up at 4:30, so even though I am getting a good night's sleep in and I'm not being disturbed now, which is life-changing, I am still up at 4:30, 5 o'clock every day. So understandably that makes you a little bit tired, and obviously I'm growing a human being, so I'm gonna be tired. But yeah, I would say that my bump has really popped. I think it probably popped around 16 weeks. Like I was like, obviously had like a belly there anyway, but like it's obvious that I'm pregnant now. So obviously I'm 18 weeks in 2 days, and this is the bump now. Yeah, I definitely popped, and I definitely noticed I popped about a week ago, I would say, maybe 2 weeks ago, and I just feel really pregnant. And that's from the front. My hips have definitely got wider. I'm definitely carrying a bit more meat around here, which I did have that with Alula as well, and it's really annoying, excuse me, but yeah, normal, absolutely normal for a woman's body to do that. So feeling grateful because it's doing what it should be doing. But yeah, I would say my bump has definitely popped, and I feel like, obviously I'm pregnant, so I'm gonna feel pregnant, but I just feel very pregnant now. Like before it's like you just feel a bit sick and tired, but now I feel pregnant. Like I do get a little bit of lower back pain, And that brings me on to my next point. So I did go around 15 weeks, I think I was, or 16 weeks. I went and seen May physiotherapy, so Rosie her name is, and she is a pelvic floor physiotherapist. She does mummy MOTs and like pregnancy MOTs. So I went for a pregnancy MOT. We just had a little bit of a chat about like my previous pregnancy, this pregnancy, my previous birth with a Lula, any sort of complications, or I didn't have any complications in birth, but any problems I had after, any of my, if I'm having any pelvic floor symptoms, all of that kind of stuff. Had a really detailed chat, and then she did a pelvic floor assessment on me, so an internal assessment. She checked my posture for me. She also checked for diastasis, and yeah, so left that feeling quite positive actually. So I have got a little bit of an anterior pelvic tilt, so that's, you know, kind of understandable. Basically, when you're pregnant and you get a bump, sometimes that can pull your pelvis into this kind of position, because obviously the weight of the bump is pulling your pelvis down. So we like to work on strengthening the glutes in pregnancy to help bring that pelvis back into a bit more of a neutral position. But for me, she thinks that I'm very, very tight in my hip flexors and my quads as well. So she's given me some exercises to do to stretch out and mobilize like the front of my legs and my hips, but I also need to work on strengthening them as well, because when a muscle is tight, it's actually because it's weak and it kind of tightens up to like crave stability, if that makes sense. Also my adductors, so my inner thighs, are a little bit tight and weak, so I need to work on stretching and strengthening my quads, hip flexors and adductors. So I came away with that information, which is quite helpful for me. So I have been putting more into my training with that, and it has actually helped my back pain already, my lower back pain. I still get it every now and again, but I just got to remember where I am when I've been standing for a long time. Am I standing with my, you know, my pelvis tilted and my butt stuck out? I call it like a Donald Duck bum, where your bum sticks out. And if I am, just find like as close to neutral for me as I can. She's also given me pelvic tilts to do, so just standing against the wall and just tilting my pelvis backwards and forwards, and just getting used to how that feels when I'm in a anterior posterior tilt, so I can try and find neutral that way as well. So I've been doing that. She also checked me for diastasis. If you don't know what diastasis is, it's a completely normal part of pregnancy. It absolutely has to happen. Every woman will have diastasis to some degree by the end of pregnancy, but it's the separation of the ab muscles, so your six-pack muscles down the front of your belly, they basically separate and stretch to make room for the baby, of course. As your bump grows, it just naturally happens, and it doesn't mean you've done anything wrong, but yeah, it's a natural part. Basically, there are things that we can do in pregnancy to help it not become too severe in the postnatal period, and help it heal a lot easier in the postnatal period. So we were just going over some things like that, making sure that my breathing is right and my like core engagement when I'm doing exercises and stuff is right. And that was actually really interesting. So she said that I have, I think it was above the belly button, about a 3 centimetre gap at the moment, and obviously I'm pregnant, so you know it's going to be stretched. Then tested my breathing, and she said that I tend to breathe a little bit too much out into my ribs, which makes my ribs bucket a little bit, so my obliques are doing a little bit too much. I need to work on more like TBA, deep core stuff. And she thinks that maybe I was doing a little bit too much core engagement when I do my exercises. So she's literally just told me to focus on breathing and not so much trying to engage, because when I'm trying to engage too much, I'm almost using different muscles and gripping too much with my muscles rather than just letting my core naturally do what it wants to do. So that was really interesting, and if you're not into like fitness and stuff, that was probably really useless to you and not interesting at all. But for me and anyone that is into pre and postnatal fitness, that was like game changing for me. So I've been trying to get out of the habit of like gripping and really engaging my core when I'm training, and yeah, hoping that that's going to help me. The pelvic floor, so when she did the internal pelvic floor assessment, she actually said that my pelvic floor was a little bit weak. So she graded it a 2 out of 5, which I was really surprised at. I thought it was going to be the opposite. Like I thought it was going to be, well, she did say there was a little bit of overactivity there. so I do need to work on like letting go as well. But yeah, I need to keep up with my pelvic floor exercises. This is a reminder if you're pregnant, or if you're not pregnant, I don't even know why I'm saying that. If you're a woman, you need to do your pelvic floor exercises. So you can download an app called the Squeezy app, which is what I'm going to download. I've just reminded myself because I keep forgetting. And that can like remind you to do your pelvic floor exercises. So I need to do that to help strengthen my pelvic floor. But yeah, I think that kind of sums up this update. I've been feeling okay. Like I said, I've had a couple of wobbles. Mentally, I am struggling more than I am physically, I think. Like physically, I'm fine. Like I'm fit, I'm still working out. I manage 3 to 4 workouts a week, which is great now. Like I've got that more energy in the second trimester. But yeah, just mentally I'm struggling a little bit because I think I'm finding it really hard to feel good about myself. Like I find it hard to feel good about myself being a mum anyway. Like since I've had a Lula, I just don't really feel pretty anymore. I just find it hard to, yeah, feel pretty, I suppose. And I guess that's just because you don't really have the time and you always put your child's needs first. Like I don't even, gross, I know, but I don't even shower every day because sometimes I just don't get a chance. And that obviously affects how you feel about yourself when you're not looking after yourself like you're used to looking after yourself, or as much as you should be. And I just find that hard. And then obviously being pregnant as well, all of the things that come with pregnancy, some of it's not glamorous, is it? And some of it does make you just feel a bit blah. And hormones, of course, hormones just don't make you feel great sometimes. So I'm just trying to be kind to myself and trying to focus on like my exercise, because that does make me feel good, and eating better. I am trying to eat better, especially now the weather's getting nicer. I'm finding it easier to have like salads and lots of colourful foods and stuff. So yeah, just trying to focus on eating better as well. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention actually is my skin. So my skin is not as spotty as it was, but I have really dry skin anyway. But in pregnancy, I literally turn into like a snake. Not even joking, I literally like shed a layer of skin or like 100 layers of skin. Whenever I take my top off at the end of the day, it is gross, but it's just covered in like flakes of skin. It's absolutely awful. And I know that I'm not moisturising as much as I should be, but even when I get down to put like, I've got literally a jar of coconut oil here, because coconut oil is so penetrating and it's so oily, isn't it? But even when Dan puts loads of coconut oil on me, my skin literally just sucks it up. And that's probably another reason why I'm not feeling so great about myself as well. It's like because the skin on my face is super dry, so even my makeup's not sitting right. I just don't, yeah, even when I do sit down and do my makeup and make an effort, I just don't feel like I look nice because my skin's crap. And just, yeah, I wish I was one of those women that had the beautiful glowing skin in pregnancy, but that's just not me. My hair does get nice and long and shiny, like it really needs a wash now, but because I'm pregnant I can kind of get away with it a little bit more than if I wasn't pregnant, because my hair does go really, really nice, but my skin is just out of the question. And to be honest, I've never really had that great skin. Like I've always had like quite spotty skin, so yeah, it's just one of those things. But yeah, I think that's going to be it for this update. There's probably stuff I've forgotten, but I'm going to mention some stuff that I haven't mentioned here in my stopping breastfeeding weaning blues video, because I just really want to get that out there, because I just feel like there's not a lot of information and awareness around post-weaning depression, and it just knocked me for 6 basically. So I really want to do that video. Hopefully I get my laptop back in the next couple of days. I really hope everything's gonna be okay with that. And yeah, I can get cracking with that. But thank you so much for watching this video and for joining me on my second pregnancy journey. I'm really grateful to have you here. Every like, comment, share and subscribe is really, really, really appreciated, and I am so, so grateful for every single one of you. I hope you are all having a lovely day, a lovely week, a lovely month. Take care, and I will see you in my next video.